guys, welcome back to my channel. So today I thought I would do a video all about Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween party in Walt Disney World. I'm sure a lot of you know that the party's starting this week, Friday the 17th of August. It's the earliest they've ever started the Halloween parties at Disney World. So I thought I would do a little tips and tricks and all about the party kind of video. I'm also going to link the 2 Halloween vlogs that I have from the last 2 years, so you can check those out if you want to. I just thought this would be a good video, especially for those of you who may be first timers going to Mickey's Not So Scary. Maybe this will answer some of the questions that you might have regarding the party. So let's get on into the video and I hope you enjoy it. Also, I'm wearing my autumn ears as well. These are from WonderlandCustoms on Etsy and I'll make sure to link them down below. So for any of you who don't know, Mickey's Not So Scary is a ticketed event in the Magic Kingdom in Disney World. It happens usually September-October time, but this year they've extended it out to mid-August as well. A lot of people who are going to the party have already probably pre-booked their tickets, but for anyone who hasn't, we actually haven't even booked ours yet because we were just waiting to see if there were any offers because there were some last year. The price of the ticket depends on what day you're going to the party, so the earlier you go the cheaper it is. The closer to Halloween the more expensive it is, and obviously Halloween is the most expensive night. I will put the range of prices here just so you have a reference in case you haven't booked yet. If you haven't booked your tickets yet though, I wouldn't worry because most nights don't sell out. The only night I would really worry about pre-booking is Halloween night because that is guaranteed to sell out even though it is the most expensive night. Obviously people do want to go on Halloween. It's also the busiest night. It tends to get busier the closer you get to Halloween. I think the parties, from what I can remember, tend to be on Tuesdays, Fridays and Saturdays with the odd Thursday thrown in, and generally weekdays are less busy than weekends for obvious reasons. We've done a Friday and a Sunday of the Halloween party before. We did the last 2 years of Mickey's Not So Scary and both nights weren't that busy. The first one was the Friday and that was the very first day of the party and it wasn't bad whatsoever. It wasn't quiet because there's still a lot of people around, but it wasn't busy. And then the Sunday was fine as well. To book your tickets, you can either book them from the Disney World website. That's probably one of the easiest things to do. Here in the UK, I'm not sure about anywhere else in the world. I'm sure there's other sites you can book tickets from, but you can also go to sites like Attractions Tickets Direct and Florida Tix, I believe, and they'll actually send you a card, I think. Don't quote me on that. We've never done it through them. But Disney, they will usually send not a paper ticket, it'll be a paper ticket, but you'll have to print it out or either have it on your phone, and then they'll have to scan it when you go in for the party. So now I'm going to talk about opening times for the party. So technically the party starts at 7, but with your Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween ticket you can get in at 4. Obviously if you have like a 14-day ticket or whatever, you can obviously go before then, but if you don't have a generic park ticket then you can go in at 4. And I feel like there's quite a few people that don't know that. So yeah, if you don't have a Disney ticket for that day, you don't have to get there at 7, you can get in at 4. I would recommend getting in at 4. You can't book fast passes or anything for those 3 hours, but you can get in the park, so why not? Also, you cannot make dining reservations. I believe it's after 3 in the Magic Kingdom. We tried to make a dining reservation on the night of Mickey's Not So Scary and nowhere was accepting them. We did it last year and it was fine and everyone was open, and then this year nothing's open past like 3. So just a warning, but I'm sure everyone who's booked their dining has done it now. That makes no sense. That doesn't make sense, but it doesn't make sense. The next thing that I want to talk about is the costumes for Mickey's Not So Scary. So I'm part of quite a few Facebook groups and I see quite a few people posting on there like, I'm thinking of wearing a costume to Mickey's Not So Scary but I don't want to be the only one, or you know, like the only adult, or I don't want to seem like out of place or anything like that. If you want to wear a costume, wear a costume, because I would say it's like a 50-50 even split between people who are wearing costumes and people who aren't. We don't go all out, we go as Mario and Luigi. This is another thing, you don't have to go as Disney characters. I feel like some people assume you just have to go as Disney characters. We go as Mario and Luigi and it's actually really good because not many people go as non-Disney characters or kind of like the non-generic like a ghost or a cowboy or something like that. Or even if it's just like a t-shirt, like a Halloween themed t-shirt, it really doesn't have to be like over the top. But seriously, there's so many adults that dress up in costumes. You're not going to be out of place if you're considering, you know, should I, shouldn't I? Wear a costume if you want to wear a costume. Saying that, there are restrictions on costumes, not too many, but the ones that I know, you can't wear capes from what I know, or full length capes. I think that's one. You can't wear masks unless you're, I believe, below the age of 13. And I think that's the same with the cape thing. And obviously if you're an adult as well, you're not allowed to wear a costume that would in some way make the guests believe that you are a certain character. So like if you wanted to go as like Cinderella, you can wear like a Cinderella themed dress, but if you come like in a full ball gown and your hair is like Cinderella's and your makeup's like Cinderella's, and you look like Cinderella, they might say, you're not coming in like that. So just be aware of that. And also, if you don't want to wear a costume, you don't have to wear a costume. There are no restrictions. You can come wearing whatever you want. Well, you have to be fully clothed. That's one thing. But you can come in a costume or you can come without a costume. So whatever you want to do. Just a quick mention as well, they do sell Halloween specific merchandise. Now I don't know much about this, but they have things like pins, and apparently Helen was telling me something about a popcorn bucket last year that was selling out. I don't know much about it, but there is a lot of Halloween specific merchandise, so if you want to get something special for the party, they have a ton of merchandise that they sell. Not even just on the night, I think they have it in the parks generally anyway. Now I'm going to go on to what I consider like the four main things of the Halloween party, and those are, I've got my little list here so I'm looking down, those are candy, characters, rides and shows. I'm going to start with the candy because I'm an expert in it and I still have some left, which some people are probably going to think is gross. But basically in the Magic Kingdom they have trick or treat stops around the park. Now these will show on the Mickey's Not So Scary park maps. There's usually I think 14 all dotted around the parks. Some of them even have 2 stops, so one that I know has 2 stops is like in the Tiki Room, if that one's there again. There's 2 stops in there so you can pick up candy at 2 points. Now I'm not sure who is sponsoring the event this year. I'm going to just assume it's Mars because it's been Mars the last 2 years, and because of that we tend to have gotten the same type of candy. So the things that we have in here are like M&M peanuts. You don't get many of them. I would like more of these please, Disney. M&M Crispies, Skittles, Starburst, Dove, or if you're British, Galaxy, little mini Snickers. Most of it is stuff that you can get here in the UK. Things do taste different, like Starburst and Skittles. There's more artificial colours in the American ones, so they do taste a bit different, but it's generally stuff we can get here. Twix. With the candy stops as well, you can go around as many times as you want. It's not restricted to, oh, you can only go through there once. If the cast member sees you go through again, you can't have more candy. You can go around as many times as you want. And usually you find who the most generous candy givers are. You find the ones giving the big handfuls, and the stingy ones giving 1 piece. No. They always have, there's usually 2 people giving out candy. If there's a stingy person who's giving 1 piece, everyone will like go towards the other side, and then there'll be someone like, there's someone over here giving out candy, and we're all like, we know. Also a big tip for getting candy, I would recommend doing it later in the night. Now we have gotten candy earlier in the night if we've seen that queues are quite quiet, but generally people go there straight away and the queues get really large really early. And if you go towards the end of the night, there's usually no one there. The best tip is to go like 20 to 15 minutes or so before the party ends. We went into the Tiki Room one, and no lie, they gave us the biggest handfuls. They might as well have just given us the whole bucket. They gave us so much candy, and we went back around again. I reckon this is where we got about 2 kilograms of candy. So I'd always recommend going towards the end, seeing if there's any generous cast members. Afterwards, when we did that one, we went to the one at the Jungle Cruise and they weren't as generous, but if you can find some generous cast members, It's totally worth it. I want to talk about rides at Mickey's Not So Scary as well. So generally most rides are open. There usually are a few that are closed. I know that when we went in 2016, Seven Dwarfs was closed, and there's usually just one or two dotted around that are closed as well, usually to make way for like characters or trick-or-treat stops or things like that. Obviously the one that generally has the biggest queue, apart from Seven Dwarfs if that's open, is Haunted Mansion, for obvious reasons, so just keep that in mind if you want to do Haunted Mansion. Also, you cannot book fast passes during Mickey's Not So Scary, so don't go expecting to get a fast pass for like Space Mountain or the Haunted Mansion or anything like that. No fast passes whatsoever during the party, but generally queues are much smaller than they are in regular park hours. So it might be a good time to do rides during Mickey's Not So Scary, but then you also have to factor in, I've paid this much for the ticket, do I want to do rides when I can do it in my normal park hours? You just gotta factor in. We like rides, but... Now, the next thing that I want to talk to you about is actually the characters, and we've actually never met a character during Mickey's Not So Scary. We're going to meet a few this year because we're going with our friend Alexa and she wants to meet a few, and we're all up for doing something different this year as well. Find out who's going to be there and where they're going to be. That would be my biggest tip, because I don't believe the map shows who's at which spot. So if you're going kind of after the first date, try and find out who's where. But typical characters that are usually there, Jack and Sally are always there, Seven Dwarfs are always there, and then there's usually like princesses and villains, Daisy, I think Daisy's there, and like Minnie and Mickey and all the classic ones, but you can usually find some really rare characters as well at Halloween. But just be aware that queues can get so long. When I say they can get so long, if you want to meet the Seven Dwarfs or you want to meet Jack and Sally, I would get to the park at 4, find out where they're going to be and start queuing up sometime before 7, because I have heard about queues for Jack and Sally and Seven Dwarfs lasting over 2.5 hours. Now, Mickey's Not So Scary is a 5-hour event. I feel like for a lot of people that's a lot of time and a lot of money to meet characters, but then that might be your thing. There's usually also a dance party in Tomorrowland. Now, I think both 2016 and 2017 it was the Monsters Inc. one. It's probably going to be the same again because monsters and Halloween. So you can always meet like Mike and Sully and other monsters. The final thing that I wanted to mention during the party is the shows and the parades. So this is probably my biggest tip when it comes to the parades. There is usually an 8 o'clock parade and an 11 o'clock parade. Again, times could change. Always, if you can, go to the second parade, because we have done both. 2016 we made the mistake and we went to the 8 o'clock parade, and then last year we went to the 11 o'clock parade. If you want to have a great view of the characters and the floats and everything coming down, you want to go to the 11 o'clock parade, because you don't have to get there as early and you can still get a great view. With the 11 o'clock parade, which we did last year, we got there maybe 15 minutes before it started, and we sat at the front. We got a great view. You'll see it in my vlog if you have seen it, or if you want to watch it after this. But yeah, we got a really good spot at the very front with very minimal waiting, so I would always recommend the 11 o'clock parade. Usually a lot of people with really small kids have gone by this point, and a lot of people have already done the 8 o'clock parade as well, so they don't want to watch the 11 o'clock one. So it's a great time to watch it. There are 2 shows that you need to see at Mickey's Not So Scary. Well, you don't need to, but I would recommend seeing them. The first one is the Hocus Pocus show. I believe this is on again. Again, I could be wrong, but I feel it's on again. And it's just a Hocus Pocus show. That's great explaining, Lizzie. But they usually have villains on there like Oogie Boogie Man and the guy from Princess and the Frog, Facilia. So it's a really good show to see, especially if you like villains, and there's songs and it's fun. So I'd recommend that, and that's in front of the castle. They usually have that on about, I think it's about 3 or 4 times during the entire party. And then the final show that you want to see, and you have to see this, if you haven't seen this you need to see this, it is Hallowishes. So it's the Halloween themed fireworks that go on during the party, and they are really, really good. They're not as good as Happily Ever After fireworks because they're like on a whole other level, but they are amazing. And there's loads of like villains and music and fireworks. Unlike Happily Ever After, you don't usually have to get there as early to get a good spot for the fireworks. We got there I think about 20 minutes before they started, and we were pretty much almost smack bang in the middle, I think. So yeah, you don't have to get there super early, but I would get there a little bit earlier. Unless you want to be a bit further down Main Street, then just go last minute. But they're so good, and you have to see the fireworks. They're usually on at 10 and they're amazing. But I think that's everything that I have for Mickey's Not So Scary. So I hope these tips and these tricks and all the information that I had helped you out in planning your night at Mickey's Not So Scary, or it just gave you a bit more information, or I don't know. I hope it helped. Remember to give it a big thumbs up if it did, and subscribe as well if you're not already. So I'll see you guys very soon, and I hope you have a good evening or afternoon or whatever time of day it is. Bye!